Fantasy football then, and my mate Stephen has put together this list of players that you could look out for in this game week. First up, we've got Aubameyang, scored his first goal against Palace, didn't he? Really nice turn and finish. They're at home against Wolves, who don't score many goals. You would expect Chelsea to have a lot of the ball, maybe make a lot of chances for Aubameyang. Next to him, James Madison had a good week, hasn't he? 4-0. He will want to continue. He is just keen to impress Gareth Southgate, and that's, I think, what you've got to look at when you're looking at fantasy players. Who is trying to prove to their national team manager? It's not the only thing to look at, of course, but it's something that is certainly going to play a part as we approach the World Cup. Then you've got Haaland. Don't need to say much about that, do I? They're playing Southampton. Sorry, that made me giggle. They're playing Southampton because Southampton have not looked good at all. And Haaland might be licking his lips. He got another couple of goals, 2. Against Copenhagen, and he needs to improve, doesn't he? I mean, 2 goals, it's not good enough. His average goal per game is dropping like a stone. I'm joking, obviously, he's incredible. And De Bruyne was rested, I think. I'm sure when I watched the highlights, I didn't see De Bruyne. And then, of course, he was rested at half-time, so he's going to play against Southampton. Right back, Rhys James could be an option. Right back, Rhys James, he's had a good week as well, hasn't he, for Chelsea? He's solid, he's consistent, of course. He gets goals, as he did in the Champions League. Out of the 2 fullback positions for Chelsea, he's the one I would pick, because with Cucurella and Ben Chilwell played well in the Champions League as well. How many times did I just say well then? It's just unknown if one is going to be favoured over the other for Potter in that position. Cucurella and Chilwell might fight over it. It depends. I mean, if Fofana is injured, Cucurella could play as a left centre-back. That could happen. Or Chilwell plays as a left centre-back and Cucurella on the left-back. They've got a good bit of versatility there now. Such an upgrade on Alonso and Chilwell, really, bringing Cucurella into the mix. An expensive addition, let's be honest, when you still had a pretty good left-back. Trippier, obviously, he's a solid player to have in fantasy, isn't he? You know what you're getting with Trippier. Newcastle added clean sheets as well since Eddie Howe's come in, and since Botman and Byrne and Pope and Trippier as well. And he gets goals as well, assists. He's been playing well, and they're at home, so you would expect him to just, he's going to stay in my fantasy for the season, I think, because he's just solid to have. One of those players you know what you're getting with him, and Newcastle are solid enough. They're always going to create against the smaller teams, and I think against the bigger teams, they've given him a go so far. I mean, the game against City was very good. Trossard is a good player to have in, but I think there's better options that I would be going for, especially for this game week. If you're looking at it by game week, they've got Spurs, so that's not the easiest game. But you know what? With Brighton, I keep saying that. And they just keep impressing, and they just keep, even the United game, you think, it's a tricky place to start the season. Nope. Anfield, Liverpool are hurting. They're going to want to, turn someone over soon. Nope. 2-0 up in the first, 25 minutes. These are a confident bunch of players, and that's thanks to Potter, but now they could go on to another level with the new manager. They really could. The defenders they used to get a lot of points this season because I think they're playing a bit more attacking. They are leaking a few goals. I mean, 3-3 is a high-scoring game. They've had a few high-scoring games. I think, was it 5-3? They beat Leicester, or 5-2? They've scored 5, whereas, last season, they struggled for goals. So it is a very good sign for Brighton, that. And they've done it without changing Welbeck, who you would look at and think he's not going to be the guy to get you 20-25 goals. But he is enabling what is good about Brighton, and the way the midfielders can move into that space. He's dragging defenders all over the show. Really, he is. He's tireless, and just deserves a bit of credit, I think, because he's been around a bit, and he was at Watford, didn't really work out, and he's just come back to Brighton and shown what a player he is. Doing it literally in every game I've watched that Brighton play, you just think, bloody hell, Welbeck's put in a performance there again and again. And the midfield behind him is just buzzing around and just doing what they've done for the past sort of 18 months under Potter. It's really good. And they lose players, don't they? And they just keep, the players that are there just keep performing and just keep improving, and the new ones that come in just slot into the team. The scouting and the way the club's run is really good, and I think Brighton, if they just keep making smart signings like that. And obviously they've got a really promising manager through the door now. I think they can just keep improving as a club and improving that league position over time, and naturally just push towards the top 10 consistently. I think they're definitely capable.